Yes, children, good morning. Once again, this is Venugopal for the Little Hearts Publications with English Book 3. We completed the discussion of the story in the previous class. Now we are going to discuss the questions and exercises given at the end of the lesson under task for summative assessment. Okay, in that the bit A is what have you understood, in which first bit A, small a, is answer the following questions. There are some 6 questions given there. We will be discussing the questions, and these answers for these questions and other exercises will be sent to you through WhatsApp. We are only going to discuss those things here on the board. How did Cinderella get her nickname? The first question. How did Cinderella get her nickname? Cinderella used to sit by the fire near the cinders. That is how she got her nickname. Simplest of simple ways of writing the answers we have to find. That's what we are writing here. You all remember that Cinderella, by the evening she was allowed to sit by the fire near the cinders. Because she continued to sit like that near the cinders, she got her nickname Cinderella. Question number 2. Suddenly something amazing happened. What did happen there? Something amazing happened. You turn to the sentence which is given there. Suddenly something amazing happened. Turn to that sentence there in the lesson, in the story. Where is that? In second page of the lesson you can see there was suddenly something amazing happened. What happened there? There was a burst of light and a fairy appeared. That's what had happened there. Suddenly a fairy appeared. Why did the fairy ask Cinderella and the cat to bring a pumpkin and 7 mice? The fairy knew that a real lady would never travel to a ball or go to a ball on foot. So she wanted a coach to be sent. She wanted to send this girl, Cinderella, by a coach, for which she wanted her to bring a pumpkin, which she turned into a coach, and she asked the cat to bring 7 mice, out of which 6 mice were converted into white horses, and the 7th mouse was converted into a coachman. For that purpose, she asked Cinderella and the cat to bring a pumpkin and 7 mice. What warning did the fairy give Cinderella before sending her to the ball? The fairy cautioned the girl, that Cinderella, that she had to return exactly at 12 o'clock. Because after 12, the magic spell would end and she would turn back into rags, and all the horses would be turning back into mice, and the coachman would be turning back into a mouse again, and the pumpkin would turn back into, the coach would be turning back into a pumpkin. So, she asked Cinderella, she warned Cinderella to come back by 12 o'clock, exactly at the stroke of 12. What happened while Cinderella was running home after the ball? After the ball, when she started running down the stairs, one of her slippers slipped and fell. That's what had happened. How did ministers find the owner of the slipper, Cinderella? The ministers went in search of all the girls in the kingdom, and they tried to fit this slipper on each and every girl's foot throughout the kingdom. And finally, when they came to Cinderella's house, the 2 stepsisters tried to fit that slipper into their feet, but it failed, and finally Cinderella's foot perfectly fitted into that slipper. That is how the ministers found the owner of the slipper. Okay, children, the answers will be sent to you. You need not worry. B. Read these sentences. Write T for true statements and F for false statements. Cinderella had all the comforts in her house. Cinderella had all the comforts in her house. No, it is false. Her stepmother and stepsisters did not like Cinderella. It's true. Cinderella, even dressed in rags, was a lovely girl. True, of course. Cinderella could not come back before midnight as suggested by the fairy. False, because she turned back before midnight only. The shoe exactly fitted the foot of Cinderella. Yes, true. The prince was madly in love with Cinderella. That's also true. Now, there is a passage there, a paragraph given with some blanks there in that. You have to complete the passage using the words from reading in the text. From reading the text, you can see that there. You are now ready to go to the ball. The first blank you have to fill with the word ball. The prince will be enchanted by your loveliness. But remember, the third blank is remember. You must leave at midnight. That is when the spell ends. Your coach will turn back into pumpkin, and the horses and coachman will become mice again. And you will be dressed once again in rags and wearing clogs instead of these dainty slippers. These are the words you have to fill in the blanks there. Under the bit C, the passage is actually there in your textbook. In the lesson, you have to remember, recollect, recall the story and fill in the blanks with the correct words. Okay, children. Now, language in use. Language in use means grammar. What is the grammar point discussed in this lesson? Look at that. There are two sentences given. There was a beautiful, sweet young girl who was very unhappy. What is underlined there? Who was very unhappy. This is underlined. In the same way, the prince who was now madly in love with her, who was now madly in love with her. Here this one also is underlined. The complete sentence. The underlined parts in these two sentences are called relative clauses. They are called relative clauses. They have a name there, relative clauses. And this particular word who is called a relative pronoun. Because we combine the sentences there, actually, if you take sentence 1, there was a beautiful, sweet young girl who was very unhappy, that can be written as two separate sentences as they are given there. You can see, there was a beautiful, sweet young girl, first sentence, she was very unhappy. When you combine these two sentences with who, you get that sentence, there was a beautiful, sweet young girl who was very unhappy. Look at that. Now how these two sentences are combined. There was a beautiful, sweet young girl. Second sentence is, she was very unhappy. So when you combine these two sentences, you will get this. There was a very beautiful, sweet young girl who was very unhappy. So this who refers to whom? Who is that who here? That is none other than this girl only. So because this who is related to this girl, and girl is a noun, and the word which is used in the place of a noun is called a pronoun, this who is called a relative pronoun. Okay, children? In the same way, now combine the following. There are some pairs of sentences given there. You are asked to combine those sentences using relative clauses. Let us see. She had a stepmother and two stepsisters. They did not like her a bit. Now you can see how they are combined to form a single sentence using who. She had a stepmother and two stepsisters who did not like her a bit. Look at page number 11 of your textbook. You can see there at the bottom one example given there, how to combine two separate sentences using the word who or which, whatever it is. There was a fisherman, he was very poor. What do you write there? The answer for this sentence, there was a fisherman, he was very poor. How do you combine these two sentences? There was a fisherman who was very poor. This is how you combine the sentences there. Second sentence, second pair, I like my parents very much. They buy me everything I want. I like my parents very much. Who give me everything I want? That who is none other than the parents, my parents. I like my parents who buy me everything I want. There was a cat, he was a good friend of Cinderella. There was a cat who was a good friend of Cinderella. Now, like that, you have to combine those sentences. My uncle lives in Delhi. He is a rich merchant. My uncle who lives in Delhi is a rich merchant. That's how you write the answer for that. My uncle who lives in Delhi is a rich merchant. Last sentence, she had two stepsisters. They were clumsy and lumpy. So, she had two stepsisters who were clumsy and lumpy. In the place of they, you can write the word who, so that you can get the answer for the sentence that, in the fifth sentence. She had two stepsisters who were clumsy and lumpy. Next bit is passive verbs. In bit B, passive verbs. What are called passive verbs? Okay, when you use these words and followed by V3 form of the verb. V3 form is called past participle form of the verb. That is called passive verb. So, if you look at the sentences there, one day beautiful new dresses were delivered to the house. Were delivered means were is followed by V3 form. So this is a passive verb. Were delivered by whom, it is not important there. Somebody delivered those beautiful new dresses to the house of Cinderella. But who delivered the dresses is not important here. What were delivered, it is important. So new dresses were delivered. In such cases where the doer of the action or person who performed the action is not important, we use passive verbs. Okay? See, for example, second sentence, the prince will be enchanted by your loveliness. Will be or shall be followed by V3. That is also called passive verb. The prince, once he sees you, will be enchanted by your loveliness, by your beauty. And you will be dressed once again in rags. You will be dressed in rags once again. So when you find such helping verbs or auxiliary verbs followed by past participle forms of the verb, they are called passive verbs. Right. సప్పుడు వస్తున్నాయి ఆపే